Shalom Aleichem, Good Erev Shabbos. One of the most fascinating things that happens in Parshat Vayera is the journey that Avram Avinu goes through. In particular, the journey he goes through not alone, but with his son Yitzchak. The journey is he is setting out on an adventure that takes 3 days to a place that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will show him that is unbeknownst to him. And there he's going to have to commit to do something that he has been outspoken about since he started preaching in Haran. Avram Avinu, since the beginning, has been coming out against child sacrifices, against human sacrifices, against serving Avodah Zarah, in particular of that of the Molech. We don't do that. It's not what Hashem wants from us. However, lo and behold, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him the command, gives him the mitzvah, take Yitzchak et bincha yichidecha asher ahavta, your son Yitzchak that you love, take him and bring him as a korban. What's going on? Imagine for a moment the mindset, the mentality that has to be running through Avram Avinu's mind. The thoughts, the imagination. Hashem, I've been speaking your word against this very action for so long. How could it possibly be that now, of all times, this is exactly what you want me to do? And Avram Avinu, passing his test, shows the ultimate commitment and ability to follow divine instruction. And to recognize it's not about his will and his desires, but rather about the desires and the will, the Ratzon of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If it was about me, myself, and I, what I wanted, so maybe in the past it was a good thing for me to leave Haran and to go to Eretz Canaan. My father's here in Terach's here, but he's passing away, or he passed away. Okay, or Kazim wasn't such a great place for me. They threw me in a fiery furnace. But now, in this moment, there's no benefit for him. He's removing his future, his inheritance, his knowledge that people will come after him and continue in his work, that his family will continue. This is not in Abraham's benefit. And his ability to take this notion and say, okay, this is the hardest thing I have to do in my life. But if until now, I've been saying, I do what Hashem wants from me. And as a Navi, as a prophet, I know when God gives me command or gives me this prophecy, I have to follow through with it. Then somehow I have to overcome this challenge. And do you know what becomes even more difficult? Is that after having to mentally go through the struggles and the frustration and the hardship of knowing what he's going to do, he gets there to the Akedah and he's about to shecht his son. And then suddenly what happens? A malach comes, an angel comes and says, don't do that. That's not what Hashem wants from you. How can that be? You just told me before that this is what you wanted from me, and now you're telling me that's not what you want from me? If this was never what you wanted from me, then why not just tell me or not tell me to do this in the first place? At this particular moment, we see something miraculous, something wonderful. It's not about what I in particularly want to do. It is about me following the command, the will, the Ratzon of Hashem. And that is a challenge for all of us. It's easy to follow the will of Hashem when it's easy for us, when it's beneficial for us. Having a Suda on Shabbat is wonderful. It's very easy. Having a meal with your family and your friends, your community, good food, you have to eat anyways. It's a little better than normally. That's not such a struggle, per se. But now, if you really did convince yourself, if you really did give yourself the ability to say, Hashem wants me no longer to practice the preaching against child sacrifice and you want me to actually do it? Well, here's the test when Hashem tells him not to do it. if he really believed that now he has to change and he has to change his perspective, when the malach comes, he's going to try and on some level fight against it. But that's not what you said. You said to do it, I'm going to do it. And that's why the malach says a second time, don't lay a finger on him. Don't do it. And then again, he has to change his Ratzon to that of Hashem. How often do we, in our relationship with Hashem, practice Judaism like a shopping cart? I pull this off of the shelf, I pull that off that shelf. I go to that aisle, I go to this aisle. I like this thing, I like that thing. But this, not so much. That, I don't like it. When it comes to serving Hashem, there might be things that maybe we are more naturally inclined to do. And there may be things that we are naturally less inclined to do. But the ultimate goal is to not serve Hashem based on what we want and we desire, but rather serve Hashem based on what He wants and what He desires, what Hashem desires. We say in the Rambam, Mahu rachum afata rachum. We emulate God. Just like He is merciful, so too we should be merciful. When we are trying to be like Hashem, when we are trying to imitate HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when we imitate the avot, when we imitate our leaders, it's not just so we are a copy and paste and that we are the same person, but rather we are trying to draw from the inspiration that if just like Avraham Avinu had the ultimate struggle of having to preach his entire life against something, to change it because Hashem said to change it, and to follow through and to almost commit an atrocity towards your only child, your future, because Hashem told you to then stop it because Hashem told you to, so too we have the ability as well to follow the will because we are B'nai Avraham Avinu.